Okay, welcome back. There's going to be a lot more exploring. And yes, we have another post-commentary episode. But I got some cool things to talk about, some cool exploring to do. It's going to be another chill time, which is nice. I've got a great topic, which is not going to go on for that long. But man, it's gonna dive just a dip of the toe into into the good old Weeb essence again. Just one more dip of the toe in. Lord knows I could put a lot of, I could dive right in. I'm not going to, but I'm gonna use it as context to make the greater point for the topic today. So, last time I talked about terrible ending. That was with BNHA. Yeah, ending was horrible. It was probably the worst I've ever seen. But there was another really bad one for another long-winded story not too long ago. That was SNK. That is how I originally know of it. That's how I think of it, just like with My Hero Academia with BNHA. That was when I got into it for the brief time. But for the time that I was invested in this series, Attack on Titan, I knew it as Shingeki no Kyojin. Ooh, SNK, that's right. Real weeb shit. But that's just how you know it early on, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a while. And you get some different translations at first when the cards are first leaked from the Japanese compared to when you get the actual name in English. It's different. It is what it is. That's just the price that you pay for getting into something early and enjoying it when nobody else, well, not nobody else, people were really into it early, even back in the day. Oh man, good time back in the day. But the ending was very bad, and a lot of the people that were like, "Oh yeah, this is a great ending. Look, the anime fixed the ending to the series and everything." They couldn't really point to anything. They're just like, "Oh, the vibes. It fits the theme," which is the same thing as BNHA. It's like, it's thematic. It was meant to be. Which again, you can pull infinite themes out of your ass if your standards are that low, supporting X, Y, and Z. But is there actual support from the page? And the answer is no. The ending was horrible. There's really not much to talk about because it's not that important. As soon as instead of doing a normal thing with the position that the quote-unquote good guys were in, instead of doing a normal thing, coming to an agreement with the two factions that they had, and saying, okay, well, we got together, we displayed our military might, we fought some shenanigans, we took a casualty, but it was an amazing moment where we basically said, you guys are screwed. You guys are screwed. We have a power on a level which you've never seen. One of your main forces is now my force, and another one is quite literally my force, as in I took its power. So one of you guys is a traitor. The third one is an absolute wreck, just mentally destroyed by the main character and by his own actions. Just like, what do they have? The enemy is like on death's door. They are fucked, royally fucked. Even though there are like other powers that could be, other parts of the world, they stand zero chance. Like the clear and obvious military might of the core faction now is on display without a doubt. And where do we go from here? We create arbitrary conflict. Even though this conflict was ending and the series was ending, and we have obvious character conflict that we can stem from the fact that these immense powers are causing some of our beloved characters to die of a sooner lifespan. You know, they only got 13 years to live after this. Even though there's obvious hyper emotion present in such a premise of like, you know that you have limited lifespan and we're just breaking free from this great oppression. Like, how do we rebuild? How are we going to do this without talismanic figures that led us here in the first place? How do we manage to do that? And so this series could have had such a really interesting ending, regardless of this forced, oh, I'm gonna kill everybody outside of the island, ooh, you know, that the main character goes on. He's like, nah, everybody else is gonna die. I'm gonna be the main antagonist now. And a lot of the debate is whether or not, like, the characterization and the decisions made in, like, the final bits, the final chapter, final episode, match previously. And it's like, no, they don't, obviously. But, the real debate, the real question should be, instead, why did we need to go on this wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, guaranteed choice that the main character made? And for apparently no good reason, which is wrong, but, yeah, he's just like, yeah, I just, you know, this is what I did. I don't know why, which is stupid, but this is what he did. It's like, dude, yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit. But it doesn't make sense. Like, even the people who look at the series ending and they're like, the characterization is wrong here. Okay, well, the main character was a fool for even going in that direction in the first place. I don't really care what the motivations are, if they line up, if it just doesn't make sense in the first place. By the way, Coastal Leviathan, sick, nasty. I love it. Exploring these areas, getting these sailing routes in Valheim is amazing. But yeah, the motivation wasn't there. It never made any sense in the first place. Because so much guaranteed success and story-wide strife was going to happen anyway. There was going to be character conflict and struggle and emotional turmoil that the cast had anyway, so that the author and the editors could go, okay, you know, this is fine. We don't need to add this ridiculous thing into our story. And then they said, nope, we're going to do this anyway. It's like, okay, well, what's the motivation for it? And then they fucked up the motivation, and then the grand debate on the ending of the series is about the motivation. But the central idea never needed to be in the story in the first place. It completely and utterly removed from the main conflict of the entire series. And it's like, how? It was predicated on the entire conflict. How could that be removed by it? Well, it's because the obvious way going forward is just using the standard powers as they've been, and just taking the next logical step. You're not taking the next logical step. We're jumping the shark. And because there's sort of timeline aspects and people seeing their descendants and futures and all of this, as soon as you introduce this, it was always meant to be, because that's how the timeline works. It's like, oh, it was always going to be this way. It's a very deterministic series in that sense, where the past can influence the future, and the future can influence the past even a little bit through timelines of whoever has which power and which lineage. And holy shit, it's just, people should have been doing vast criticism of this idea, this absurd idea of adding this as a guaranteed this was always going to happen thing in the series in the first place. Like, this never needed to happen. The series would have been far better off without it. It would have just continued on like normal, and there would have been plenty of enjoyable stuff an amazing ending. And the problem is, you have an ending which, if it ends one way, the message looks like it's very bad. I'll just say that right now, because if I just state what one side will do to the other regardless as a factual word, YouTube will probably demonetize me. And I'm not going to do that, but it starts with a G. And both sides would absolutely do that. Either side would do that to each other in this story. And it's like, okay, are we, what are we doing here? If we're actually doing a both sides, like actually in the story, then no matter which side we take, no matter which side wins, we got a pro-G message that could be interpreted from very real interpretation cited from the page, from the text. Pro-G. No matter which way it went, as soon as you introduce the both sides as a guaranteed, that was the result. And so some people are like, I don't understand how you could interpret it as a series. Well, as soon as that was introduced, it never was going to be one or the other unless the main character was talked out of his position before it started, which obviously was not what happened. And so we have this scenario where people are just completely not understanding what's going on. I mean, people who were interested in what was going to happen, it's like, okay, sure, that's fine. You can be interested in some jank shit. That's okay. I was interested in what was going to happen in a side story in BNHA. I was technically interested in some jank shit, even after the Oh My 7 quirks. That's true. So I don't blame people for being interested in, maybe what happens. It's like, eating some popcorn media. It is what it is. People like that all the time. But when we actually start engaging with some terms, which people getting wrong all the time, this is going to be the topic of the video. When we actually start engaging with ways to engage the series, or any series for that matter, this is when people start to go haywire. And the analysis of what is correct by people who don't like the way that things turned out. The analysis of what is incorrect by the way that people who enjoyed what happened in the series at the end. But the analysis of how the series very easily could have been is wrong by both of them. Horribly wrong by both of them. And the messaging is just all over the place. And here's where we get to these terms, because these terms have popped up. A specific term popped up after Dune 2. People started talking about media literacy. And now it's like a pop term. It's all of a sudden turned into a buzzword. And that's because people are using it incorrectly. People are using it very, very incorrectly. But I'll get to that in a moment. The reason why I want to bring it up as well is because you see it in these comment sections regarding the ending of either series. By the way, if you were interested and disappointed in the weird shit that happened in SNK, Attack on Titan AOT, I have a recommendation for you. It just ended recently, and it's 108 chapters, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's called Hoseki no Kuni, Land of the Lustrous. Yes, that anime. It's got a manga, and it's finished, and it's absolutely incredible. Okay? Think Steven Universe, but actually incredible. No bullshit. It carries the weight of what Steven Universe could have been and brings it to the next level. And I don't mean like next level as in like just above the quality of Steven Universe. No, I mean like the next level of fucking long-term series. It is amazing, and it will carry with you a lot of the same notes and similar styles of conflict that Attack on Titan has, but with a far, far, far superior story, major conflict, big ending, conclusion. Everything is phenomenal, okay? It's all there. It's all incredible. There's maybe a couple of things which I was wanting a little bit more out of that we didn't see. You know, there was one thing that was slightly disappointing that we didn't get, but it wasn't that serious. There wasn't like too much of a all-around disaster when it came to it. I wish, like, it is an issue. It's not a perfect series because of that, but still, it is very, very good. Like, the thing that is the problem is that like, it just wasn't vital to the core plot anyway, but it is still an immersive issue. It's like not vital, very, very situationally and problem. It's like don't even worry too much about it. It's still a fantastic read, and it will bring you that sense of satisfaction that maybe SNK did not. But let's get back into the terminology talk. We have terms that people are misunderstanding and terms that people really should be using more when talking about this sort of thing. So, media literacy is not the term that people are looking for when they say, oh, well, you're not getting a good interpretation out of this series. They're looking for the term literary analysis. I know this because I really like doing this. I really love doing it for any sort of long-term series, and I've been reading/watching them since I was a kid. So this sort of theory crafting, you need a good sense of literary analysis for. And, well, what is media literacy then? Media literacy is understanding mass media and being able to discern information coming at you through sources of mass media. So, it basically, the most common use of it is through online messages and propaganda. So it's like, can you cite your sources? Can you check people's sources? Do you know how to engage when people are bullshitting you? Can you deal with like online scams and things? Like, do you know that sort of deal? And so that's media literacy. That's when it's used most commonly. That's when it has the most effective usage, because otherwise there are other terms that people have used for a very, very long time that cover the meaning better. So that's the definition of media literacy. Do you have the ability to understand if what you are reading and what you are processing is valid, or is there a hidden meaning? Can you go on to other media and check if it's right or wrong? And, fact checking is part of this. You'll see this with like disinformation, misinformation. This happens a lot that I just normally do. It's just shit that we normally do. If you grew up with the internet age, you understand exactly what to do. Especially, I do this a lot when it comes to video game quote-unquote guides online. And here's where it ties into my community, what I do best. Literary analysis, okay? That's fun, I like that. But media literacy, I have to do this shit a lot. I have to go on, I have to check, okay, this guy's claiming this. Does the testing result in this? You know, is the data analysis correct? And so I have to go to the wiki and look. Maybe I have to go to the Discord and then check this and that. Like, all of this double checking and confirming and really making sure that things are up to top notch in terms of information and analysis. That is media literacy. That is part of it. Breaking down the media that's coming at me and making sure that I'm getting the best messaging from it or understanding it correctly. That's media literacy. And that's stuff that we have to do more and more with all of these shitty ass video game quote-unquote guides, walkthroughs. The fact that people are putting out no commentary walkthroughs, even though there's no text on the screen, no nothing to tell you good information and good analysis. It's not a walkthrough, it's a playthrough. And so you can understand that through looking at the history of these terminologies and understanding also these terminologies, and the lack of understanding it is a lack in literacy. There's another term. So we have media literacy, literary analysis, and then people not understanding these terms, interestingly enough, are lacking in literacy. But what's really cool is that most of the time, just doing simple understanding of what the chapter or of the manga or what have you, what it's saying on like, remember in the last episode I said that B&HA, there was quite literally the last chapter, the previous chapter before the final one, said that heroes will have more free time on their hands. People not understanding that and just forgetting about it when it came to the final chapter, literally the next chapter, the next week. That is not a lack of literary analysis. That is not a lack of media literacy. I don't even think that it is a lack in literacy. This is another term that you will be familiar with. I trust you to be familiar with it. Reading comprehension. There's the fourth and final term. And so ironically, the people that are projecting bullshit about the B&HA ending or the SNK ending, and they're getting shit obviously wrong from not too long ago, they are incorrect when it comes to, ironically, this is hilarious, all four of those terms. All of them. They're lacking in all four of them. All of them. By not checking multiple sources of media and making sure that they have their information correct when using these types of terms or trying to come to the right conclusion on these endings, they are lacking in media literacy. By not understanding the terms by themselves, they are lacking in literacy. By not understanding the messages that should be conveyed and understanding how things should be or maybe shouldn't be, they're lacking in literary analysis. And then, quite simply, by not understanding the simple words that come off the page, even in the last chapter before the big finale, they are lacking in reading comprehension. It is incredible to me how utterly pathetic that is. But this is what I get for browsing Twitter sometimes. Hey, it is what it is. This shit is just what you see. And I'm proud to have a community that doesn't fall for this type of bullshit. That looks and strives beyond the nonsense. By the way, look at this. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Look at this area. Stonehenge. This beautiful plain structure. This is a top spot. Truly. Draugr Village. Beautiful meadows. Right by this like plains waterway. And we got swamp nearby. Take a look to the right. What's that? Come on, take a look to the right. It was me, so I know I'll do it eventually. Oh, mountains right there. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The seat is absolutely incredible. Not the best swamp crypt wise in terms of crypt density, but still. Whew, oh man. Still incredible. Absolutely amazing. I mean, the vistas, the views, the potential building. I've never seen a Stonehenge that close to a Draugr village. Never mind a Stonehenge being like partially in the meadows. That one being so complete too. Once I get the Huntsman Bow and come back there, oh my god. It's going to be A, a bloodbath, but B, the plains build. The potential mega structure that I could make. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think I'll do it with, probably with like Ashland styles material. Like I'll just clear out the space and not really build anything there. And then later on, probably grab some Mistlands and Ashland stuff and like... Because the majority of the structures inside are already pretty spicy. Like the Draugr village is something that's very easily raid and repairable. I still have that rule on this run where I'm not just going to repair the structure, but it's very easy to enhance the structures. Repair and enhance. Not just reuse, but like enhance them, make them better, expand them while keeping a lot of the original design. And then because of that, because of the way that the internal design is already so good, I'm thinking mostly in terms of wall structure. Like how can I get this beautiful castle wall type perimeter to make this interior look even better? You know, what type of landscaping do I do to the local area surrounding so that I can get the maximal view that I want from the area? I know that the Plains waterway is absolutely gorgeous. Shout out Scales. His types of builds with the Plains waterways are on another level. And I'm excited to see what he'll cook with next in terms of building. I don't know how long that's going to take. We'll see. But, man, I just know that, especially considering how gorgeous the Plains lighting is, especially considering how gorgeous the natural red flower grasses are in the Plains, oh my god. I just know that that build is going to come out looking magnificent, so that's going to be wonderful. I do have to do a lot, and I mean a lot, of coastal charting here, because the swamp crypts are so spread thin throughout many different swamps. In order to get my good fill of iron, I have to really set up the sailing routes. I have to scout, explore, make sure everything's good, and let's be real, I need to spend the time anyway, so that my my barley mead can ferment. I also just need that crop to rotate so that I can have a good amount of generation and trying to think of the term. A bountiful harvest, I guess that would be the term. Abundance, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just gonna pass right by this right now. You can see how close everything is to each other. I'm definitely going to clear out these trees and saplings and brush when it comes to this view. Probably going to clear out the far, maybe not going to clear out the far woods, because that's a nice little tight landmark by itself, and it's not really blocking a view. Wow, just absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, berserkers are not popping in, so they're not going to town on Draugr. That would be a good fight to watch. Maybe sneak in and check for Vegrisir, but I'm not going to risk messing around with potentially a starred fella or what have you. I don't have my needle arrows, but even then, starred berserkers bring out the frost arrows, just 100%. 100%. Now, this is something that I don't recommend like any new player do, obviously. Running around in the plains with the root stuff is honestly fine for even a new player, because you just run from everything and you're chilling. But swimming place to place in the plains, don't do that if you're a new player. Never ever do that. Because especially some of the stuff that I do later in the episode, that is so dangerous. Like if there's a trio of locks that could potentially spawn, or a couple of Desquitos, plus a Fulling maybe, could really devastate you if you swim right up and they pop in. That is awful to deal with, because you're probably going to be at low stam, and they're just going to devastate you. It's not good. So you got to be extremely careful. You got to know what you're doing, understand good angles, and I'll tell you when I make a swim at a good location versus at a bad location, or what's a good idea and whatnot. A lot of these plane swims that I'm doing are just old leftover habits that I had when I was a non-sailor. Okay, so certain parts you just want to go out, grab the carve, portal back, grab the carve, set up the carve, and then sail on, and it's fine. Because especially if you have land nearby, it's not like you're going to be devastated by a serpent and then just like get absolutely screwed by X and Y. No, you're going to be fine. There's going to be significant land nearby, especially on the spots that I'm exploring. The seed, as gorgeous as it is, I will tell you guys what seed I'm using at the end of the run. I just don't want any seed spoilers right now, but I should be using one of the ones that I sent into the Discord. I may or may not have made a video on it, like a proper seed video. I forget now. It's been a while. It's been a while. But yeah, it's gorgeous, especially these little bits. I should be marking every and all coastal Fulling camp, and it's a shame that I don't, but at the same time, there's so much plains, and it's honestly far more black metal than I'm going to need, especially when considering the sealed tower. Now, it's possible that Ashland's recipes do change this need for black metal, in which case I'll have the black metal. Don't tell me, by the way, but I'm doubting it just because of the whole Flametal thing. Flametal Alchemist. No, you know what I mean. But, yeah. I just think that it's not going to be too much black metal that I'm going to need. I'm going to want some stuff for chests. Black metal at gear quality 4. Pickaxe quality 4. A couple of stuff for extractors. You need some stuff for tables. Check out this RNG, boss. Check this shit out. Look at this RNG. Another daytime wraith. Imagine that. Ping that guy with some fire arrows. No problem. And look at the RNG. Look at the RNG. Look at that. 3 daytime wraiths. 2 trophies. I've never seen RNG like that. Well, actually I have, because my golem trophy to golem kill ratio is unbelievable compared to other Valheim players with similar hours. So I guess I am just pretty lucky. I'm not dream lucky, but I'm lucky. But yeah. It's a fun time. Oh my god. Such a good time. I love getting those fancy trophies. I got to do some decoration at some point. But what else do I need black metal for? I'm gonna pick up black metal sword. Of course, black metal shield. There we go. And oh man, I'm blanking. I feel like maybe one more thing. The axe, of course, for Aegis of Wood. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's honestly good. Yeah, that should be fine. Should be dandy. Ugh, Valheim verticality. There we go. The bow aiming is still so weird when you get below a certain angle. Oh, it's strange, man. I don't know if they'll ever fix that, but yeah, I mean, the reticle should obviously match where you're aiming. Interestingly enough, this episode is quite a bit of times where I reach a good solid point, a good spot that I could portal back in safety. And then I check my rest and it's like, oh, it's time to safely portal back and get rested. It's such good fortune. Oh my god. Such good fortune. And of course, I mean, some of this fortune as well, some of these good moments and amazing times, a good amount of these times actually go beyond the world viewer. Like things what you can check. Like there's a handful of people that are weird about the world viewer. They're like, oh my god, you ruined the experience. And it's like, what, are we playing the same game? What are you talking about? It's a ridiculous statement. Look at the amount of things that you don't know, that you can't check for. Look at the experience in game. And tell me that that's the same as looking at the fucking world viewer. Literally one time, dozens, if not hundreds of hours before actually diving into the game, and then never again. Because that's how I do it. That's how I do it. I'll check for seeds, put them in a document, and then forget about them. That's it. I didn't even know if this seed was going to be particularly good in some aspects. And I know it's not perfect. Because the bosses are in weird spots. Like, I can already tell from the Elder spot that this is not some sort of magnificent mega seed that I would spend like 5 hours searching for on the viewer. No, this is just a random decent seed that I thought would be good for the Ashlands, that I don't even know if it's good via Ashlands stuff. I don't even know if it's gonna be good, you know, when the Ashlands inevitably changes the world generation. I had no idea. And yet people will still go and be like, oh my god, you're destroying it, you're destroying your experience. And this is like a long time ago. Nobody currently is saying this, thankfully. Everybody's cool. But it still boggles my mind. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? So strange. But yeah, I want my crop generation to be at another level. I think I'm going to have some holdover when I rotate this next generation, but for now they're still all just planted in the ground. Just keep them all in the ground. I'll probably eventually move the farm over to that glorious top spot that I marked earlier. But man, oh my god, the plains, again, like the partial, like semi-aquatic nature, like the way that the plains there, it's close to the water. Ooh, You know, tell me if you disagree. This is not some sort of grand test that I'm giving. There's no correct answer. But my ideal, my favorite way of sailing in Valheim is small to medium river carve sailing and doing some simple coast sailing. That type of stuff, river sailing, woo! I love river sailing in Valheim so much. Of course, that's what got me started in sailing in Valheim, so I'm a bit biased towards it. But it's a subjective thing anyway, right? So who gives a shit? You know, we're talking about our biases here. So, I will say some of my, you know, it's not all without game analysis, right? The way that river sailing works relative to gameplay and land-based threats, especially with the turn rate of the carve and the way that you have to chart out a route, especially in certain rivers that could be too shallow or could have a bunch of rocks. It just adds a brand new aspect of satisfying gameplay loop. Now, other people, of course, they're not going to find that satisfying. they want to fucking haul ass with a lot of stuff in their storage, and I totally understand it. The longship is good in its own right. Now, I don't think any sailing at the moment is perfect in Valheim. I think ship upgrades would still be a fantastic thing to have. I think that being able to upgrade a ship with a variety of tools and add-ons to deal with many of the nuisances that sailing could potentially have would be a wonderful progression system in terms of not only river sailing but also just ocean sailing and coastal sailing. But at the moment, the amount of interaction that you can have with the environment, with the mobs, with river sailing is just on another level. It's on another level. And yeah, it's a different type of interaction when you get to a longship, when you're starting to really haul stuff. That's a different feeling, and you don't want that much interaction when you're hauling. It's a longship speed, the longship handling especially. That can be some real spicy gaming. But I just love taking it slow, but not too slow with the carve. Getting through that lovely river. Being able to, say, okay, here's the carve. I might want a portal. I need to be able to defend the carve. So before then, I'm going to go grab at least a quality 2 bronze at gear. I'm going to go through. I'm going to get X, Y, and Z mats. But first, I need to see, is this river navigable? Can I get through efficiently and safely? Can I even get through at all? And so the scouting, the charting, I love that. And then there's still a process of hauling. There's still this and that. And interestingly enough, I would actually really love in Valheim a ship that was, I don't know, kind of in between the longship and the carve, kind of. But just like a straight up upgrade to the carve in many ways would be phenomenal. Especially considering you can shift click a boat and drop it on land and use it for decoration, which I've done in the past and it's gorgeous. So carve will still always have that decorative vibe to it. Fine, yes. And I'm not saying that this new vessel would be void of aesthetic value. No. But some sort of a carve upgrade would be so good. Just because, especially because the rivers in general in Valheim were widened not too long ago. I mean, this might have been like 8 months ago. The way that, you can even see it on the map now there. The rivers have been widened, and being able to navigate them isn't as bad with a longship even. There could be this really cool midway spot between carve and longship that would have, sort of mix of properties that I would actually really dig. I would love that. Throw on a lantern holder, or I don't know, like some sort of a ballista option, for interacting with later game mobs, being able to deal with them. I love my idea from the ship upgrade video that I did not too long ago. Speaking of ship, look at this this seed, the weird shit in it. Oh my god, this is so cool. But yeah, talk about a shipwreck. Look at that. Don't sail in that. Man. Oh god, just the beauty of the planes in this seed is on another level. But yeah, having a figurehead that could actually launch out an attack from its quote-unquote mouth, that would be so cool. It would be so sick. Having it be able to do different things, like, yes, it could be like a fire damage, but also it could be just straight up like smoke, so that you lose aggro, or you can do some stealth sniping with the arbalest or what have you, or just get away. God, shit like that would be so cool. It would be so nice. Can't wait. I hope we get stuff like that. Maybe towards, deep north, we get one that has ice breaking capabilities. That would be sick. Even in the little rivers. Some sort of eider thrusters. I don't know, man. We got a lot to work off of. We got a lot. This is one of those times where I should have a carve, because the river space, like, I'm not worried about Desquitos, but again, the triple lock scenario, or just anything while I'm swimming that could be particularly semi-dangerous, is giga dangerous when I'm in the water, except for, a torch falling or what have you. But everything else is just brutal. Like, you see how those 3 locks just pop right in? That's a problem. That is an issue. By the way, check out that little henge over by the 3 locks. Interesting. Rather interesting. Yes. Curious, What is that? I don't see a crossbar, if you will. The top section of it. But there's something else there. Would you look at that? A Jagdvegvisir. It was only a matter of time finding all of these planes. Unfortunately, we got a fulling in there. But even though there's so much chaos nearby, it's a 1-star spear thrower. And so I can just grab the Yag and go. Yeah. Luckily, the swamp's nearby. Everything will be very smooth. But I see something else over here. And again, guys, this is where you portal back and grab the carve if you want to be safe. Okay? What I'm doing here is a bunch of nonsense. Check this shit out. I'm like, cool little archipelago over there. I'm just gonna take a swim. No! Sail. Do not take a swim. Don't do what I do. I understand it's like, technically you're leveling swim. No, don't do that. Don't. Stop it. That's horrible. Don't do that. Spear throwers are another thing that could have caused an issue, even though you have the root harness. Just because they can reach you very easily from a distance, they're going to cause that knockback while you're in the water. And of course, drowning has a set damage per tick, and that can really cause you to die fast. Truly. This would be an amazing spot for a build as well. Just gorgeous plains archipelago. Pretty close to land, close to plains and swamp for a great deal of raiding. Just a fun time. But here I go swimming again. Yeah, here we go. Soon. But yeah, huge risk. Don't do this at home, because depending on these waves and if the island is just big enough at the moment, we could get a Lox pop in, or we could get Skeeto pop in, or fulling, or double Skeeto. Like, it's all types of nasties. Now luckily there's no popping, there's no nothing. I got a swim level or whatever. Do not just take the carve. Especially considering the land front and back. Do not. But hey, if you really didn't want to sail for whatever reason, if you're serpent traumatized like I used to be, by all means you could swim this. I even ignored that fulling over there, even though I could have taken him out. And I swim. Well, I'm walking now, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Look at this swim. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, I have so many goodies on me. Like the chain, the Wraith trophy, portal mats, all of my standard gear as well. And it's like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll pop a potion. Oh, yeah. Sure. Pop a potion. And yeah, especially at larger landmass, locks could have been very, very easily right there waiting for me. Just royal death right there. New elder spot. Elder is pushing it, man. That elder is close to the Ashlands waters, which is like, no thanks. Elder is definitely in the near Mist. No, it's beyond Mistlands. What am I talking about? It's like right next to Mistlands. Why'd my music stop? There we go. About to say, the music had no business stopping there. There we are. I could be sniping all the hogs. I honestly should have, but I'm very excited to be still in meadows somehow. So that's pretty spicy. Just being able to continuously go down, down, down. Check out more and more. Whoa. Some stutters there, unfortunately. Oh yeah, look at all the cool shit. Here I'm like trying to figure out where Yag is. I'm like, where is he? Where's that guy? Where's Yag? Surely he's nearby, right? You got so many planes. Nope, he's up there. There's Yag. So you remember what I said earlier about this seed not being perfect, not having the best types of boss locations? That's how I know. That's how I know. But yeah, Yag, Sealed Tower, all that. You can just sail out, no problem. Yeah, there might be some islands in between, but honestly, it's just a run through. Not too much of an issue. Of course, if we add ship upgrades, building docks would be super incentivized. Again, rested, almost about to run out. Guess what? Plane's right there, but I'm in the meadows. Just put on that portal and boom! We're chilling. Finally, I know it must have bothered some people, but I fixed that placement of that carrot soup stack. Get that out of there. Honestly, guys, I should also have had needle arrows for this plains venture, just because you never know if a stray Lox is coming at you, you want to take it down, or if that Stonehenge just had some regular berserkers that could have dropped them with needle arrows. No problem. The joy of early needle arrows, man. But also, just like, honestly, earlier on in the video, I 100% should have just gone and mined out the coastal Leviathan. I absolutely should have gone out and just taken my pickaxe and done that. But here's the thing. Here's the big question. Okay? Because I'm thinking in terms of the video, and here's why I shouldn't have said absolutely. That's not correct. I don't have the Forge Bellows up. It's really just one chain, so it'd be really easy wraith hunting, and then I could upgrade all my bronze stuff to quality 4. At which point I could have a quality 4 bronze pickaxe, and with that in mind, if I had less than desirable chitin on the, or less than desirable quantities of barnacles on the Leviathan, then I would be able to, have better odds in getting the correct amount for a harpoon. That would be the thing. Now, actually bringing and using the harpoon, in addition with some ooze bombs, would be super good for potentially clearing out some areas that I don't want. Or using the harpoon to aggro guys would be really easy to move past what would be some really tricky quarters so that I can keep exploring beyond whatever tricky area. But yeah, I could just always decide to go explore somewhere else if I run into a tricky area, and just wraith hunt some other time when my options of exploration are out, and then get the bellows and then continue on and go back to that point with the harpoon at that point, and then just no problem. So I think delaying that is totally fine. I'm not just arbitrarily stalling, guys, I promise. But yeah, you can tell there are, in what would be normally very chill Valheim session, a very chill video. At least I hope you guys enjoy this, what would be a lack of action. There's still quite a bit of, fulling kills, there's still quite a bit of adventure, some good finds. And that's just due to the glory of this seed. And just what a magnificent seed. Look at that cool structure in the plains. Like, what the fuck? I should have marked it. Like, that's incredible. That's so cool. All these little weird things. Again, can't check for that type of shit on the world viewer. I was also thinking to myself while recording, it's like, okay, I really like doing this type of stuff now, and being able to treat these mobs like trash mobs with my skill and gear combined, it's very satisfying. You know, skeletons are definitely trash mobs now, but like Draugr too. Plains, not plains, but swamp style stuff. That's nice, you know? However, used to be something to be very careful about even when you have the skill and the gear, because you didn't have some of the gear. You didn't have the root set back in the day. You didn't have that lovely root harness back in the day. And so it was all about that bronze buckler. It was all about that added gear, being careful. It was all about careful positioning and understanding things. And, you know, I think there's an amazing balance with the root harness. The secondary benefits, being able to analyze and test and understand how good it is as a armor piece and not just a thing of a set, is phenomenal as well. And so the harness is just impeccable design in terms of gear, in terms of a single piece of gear. But oh my god, just the amount of rando shit that you'd have to snipe. Like, I would have to snipe almost every leech to death to get those bow levels up to beyond this level of progression. And of course, you know, there's the genius of the root set design to help you out in that regard. Better effectiveness in bows now will lead to more bow levels later, because obviously you're sniping more with more efficiency. If you're making more kills, more shots, that's more levels. Yet another rune stone. I keep running into plains of rune stones. This plains, there's quite a bit left to explore, but there's quite a bit left to explore of the entire starting islands, I guess, starting island chain. There's a lot to see in terms of coastline even that I have to chart for sailing routes, and I'm excited to see that. But oh my god, just already what I've seen, the glory of it. I just would not be surprised if there was some real spice in the internal areas of these lands. Again, tricky AI. That little juke by that torch fulling could have been real deadly by a sliver of space That's all because they wander. They do this half-wandering AI. Like I said before, you gotta think about AI and mob design in terms of good strategy by you, the player, or players, and not in terms of the worst potential or just no strategy. You know, we don't play this in a vacuum as if we're just standing around waiting for the enemies to kill us. Oftentimes, it is better to be proactive. By oftentimes, I mean most of the time. Check this, yet another shipwreck. What is my luck? I don't know. It's a lot. Again, it's been so much that I've been passing up on most of the fine wood. I'll get it here. I'll yoink, you know, whatever. But that the amount of fine wood that I have readily available with the oaks and acorns that I still haven't planted, it's just like, you know, the valuables will be better for whatever I plan to buy. Especially Ymir flesh, but still. Yeah, I decided to pick up some fine wood because, well, the portal mats, the stack overlaps anyway, so here's what it is. Might as well. Let me drink some more coffee. I don't know why, but at this part of the Black Forest, I was looking inland. I don't think you should really ever do that for Black Forest. Once you're at this level, once you know where like Elder is and Brenna and all them and Merchant, always look out when you're on the coast, just in case you find a coastal leviathan, like I did earlier in the episode. Because right now the coastal leviathans have a little bit more value than looking in. Could you find something really cool looking in? Sure. But most of that value's already had. And there's still so much Black Forest. It's just like not even an issue. Sentinel strats with the water. Being able to use that little bit of interceptive play. Get that mace middle mouse is absolutely glorious. Spacing and timing made easy via the natural control of the water. Using the environment to hold a position and make use of that to destroy your enemies. Those are Sentinel strats. Because what does the Sentinel do? Sentinel guards a position. There's the etymology behind my naming schemes. Sentinel strategies. Obviously, interceptive play is, you know, just being able to intercept the target while kind of using their movement as your spacing via timing. You understand. It's just a way of rewording some simple gamer strats in terms, just making use out of specific instances so that people understand that there are actually quite a bit of ways to very usefully take on said instances. More swamps. Potentially more crypts. Potentially another daytime wraith. But we got an A-bomb. And this is a rare A-bomb. Not rare, but like, you know what I mean. This is an A-bomb plus encounter. Somewhat unusual, but A-bomb plus skeletons, so we have a little bit less stamina to work with. Now we got a couple of blobs. Yeah. Log ain't doing that much. But it is stopping me from getting close, so I decided to parry its leg instead of just walking under it, because I wasn't sure if the log was going to stop me. A-bomb is deciding to be jank with its AI, so wandering back, I mean, people underestimate the ability of just walking backwards sometimes, but especially being able to sort of body shield myself with that giant tree, making use of the A-bomb's giant frame against itself is really quite nice. And yeah, it's just simple here. I decided to be aggro because I know the Draugrs are coming, and again, walking backwards so that some of them don't aggro. That's going to be ideal. One of them did, but still. Smooth. Smooth. And if there was one behind it, it wouldn't have aggroed if I just, you know, walked back, which I did. So, gotta cover your bases. Make sure that if you can't see something, that if there's something potentially there, like very often a double Draugr spawned walking at you, then just make sure that your bases are covered if you couldn't tell what's going on. I start getting sloppy with the spelling there, but not really that concerned. I can always change it later. Because of local A-bombs, being able to get into an A-bomb plus encounter like that can be rather tricky. And obviously trying to find swamp crypts, I'm going to be looking inward when exploring the swamp coast. But it is possible that you find some, you know, coastal leviathans in the swamp. It's happened to me before. Well, what do you notice in the distance? I wonder what that could be. Yeah. We have bone mass. And this is one of the locations that is actually quite nice. Other than Eikthyr, this is actually one of my most convenient locations. Even though I would have had to run all the way down, and then maybe even do a little bit of sailing, although I swam. This is still a very convenient bone mass location. Just being able to potentially set up a portal here, or very close by, and deal with him when a moment comes, that is quite good. Quite good. Now what's interesting here, I thought my weather was janky, but we have Mistwall. And we don't just have Mistwall there, we have Mistwall all around us. That's right, we have a good-sized Mistlands here. Really solid. Look at that. Mistwall, 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 Mistwall. Holy shit. Mistlands all over the place. Which is super cool. And I was half expecting a Yawl to show up, which would have been a really funny time. It would also have been a great punish to me not having needle arrows at the moment. It kind of would have sucked, but yeah. Needle arrows, everybody. Going on a plains adventure, even if you're going out of the plains, needle arrows. Especially when you get close to the Mistlands like this. Now, it being a swamp, being constantly raining, I would have been somewhat okay, but still, I don't have the best armor on, and my HP also isn't, like, exactly terribly high. Would I have been able to take out a Yawl with needle arrows with all this setup, with my middling food? Yes, yeah, I would have, yeah. Yes, I would have. But the main issue, besides then, would be the ticks. Even then, I think with all the swamp mobs, I still would have been okay. But, having a stag breaker would have been ideal for that situation. Stag breaker plus needle arrows would have been good for taking out a Yawl with that. Even so, it's just holy shit, man. The amount of Mistwall in this swamp is ridiculous. Look at the Mistwall, it's so much. But yeah, I know we're all be coming back for Mistlands. It is possible that this Mistlands is actually rather small, in a cruel twist of fate, and that the other Mistlands with its minimal Mistwall over on the left side is actually quite large. It is very possible via RNG, but I doubt it. It's just, man. By the way, more turnip seeds. Just the amount of turnip seeds that I've seen on this seed is ridiculous. Super lucky, super good seed. I believe this is the Draugr and Draugr Archer encounter that caused me to reminisce about those times when I didn't have root set. Those weird times. Those were the days when I went heavy armor helmet and troll tunic, troll pants with wolf cape. You know, Locke's cape would be still more efficient in terms of silver cost, but whatever. The durability didn't matter, so I just went for fashion. And yeah, man, it wasn't even like, you couldn't even max out the troll stuff at the time. This quality 3 troll tunic and pants. Running around with like whatever helmet. Oh man. That was such a weird time. Interestingly enough, before you get to Fenris, it's still very fast. It's solid balance of speed plus defense. Definitely the best armor type setup you could have at the time. Oh, absolutely. But it was a weird time because that was like the only armor setup essentially. It's like, could you go full Hemi? Yes. Was it mechanically incentivized? No, not at all. And it still isn't. Which, I don't know, I might be eating my words when it comes to Ashlands, by the way, more turnip seeds. I hope to be eating my words come Ashlands. And oh hey, look. Another swamp crypt when I'm right about to run out of rested. How convenient. I'm ever the lucky guy. Look at this. Just checking for a mob outside. Nope. I actually want to encounter oozers now. If I can get like some spare iron to get a stone cutter, that would also be a really good way to get that quality 4 bronze stuff. But also stone cutter just comes with so much more. Of course, like better comfort, super building mats. Papa John's, not sponsored. But yeah. I don't know what I was doing. I must have forgotten that I was low rested. The message just popped up and I was like, oh, hang on. I know where I am. Easy portal time. Good amount of money there. Still gonna need a little bit more. Even though I've got a really solid amount of stuff for eggs, and not eggs. Even though I botched that sentence. Even though I have no money necessarily that's going to go towards eggs because of the sealed tower. Ymir flesh is fucking expensive for the sledge and Froster. Oh, it's gonna be a lot. Also, I think I'll do a Frostner highlight, a little compilation with this character. People had a good reception of the old @Gear compilation that I did not too long ago, which is nice. Very minimal him and awful, of course, because of the staff of embers in the Mistlands is just. It's the staff of embers. I mean, what is there to say other than the specifics? I guess like you get to elemental magic 40, and you just 2-shot any seeker, guaranteed. You get the crossbows 40, you 1-shot the seeker with Carapace Bolt from sneak attack, guaranteed. So the him in use is minimal. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys some other time. Bye.